I've been money craving, started shoebox saving, made some puzzle placements. I know what this life gon' come with, know that they gon' go and hate it.
Welcome back to Nationwide Sports Talk. I'm Matt Mackey, live from West Virginia, wild and wonderful, y'all. Episode 91 is underway, and you can't start another episode with the two favorite co-hosts. My favorite co-host, Caleb Lane, live from Morgantown. Caleb, what's up?
What's going on, guys? Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend and everyone stayed safe. And let's get into this episode.
That's right. Hope everyone had a great week. Technically a holiday weekend, but you still got to go work Monday, but you're off Tuesday kind of thing. I hated that. But it was a fun week. A lot of sports happened in 1 week and a lot of scares, a lot of upsets, and a lot of unusual things that you wouldn't really see on a dominant-based season we're having right now for the NFL. Because Caleb and I talked about last week, you know who the dominant teams are. Sometimes that dominant team slips up, and it happened this past weekend. So, get the episode started. NFL talk, college football. You know the drill. You're used to it. 91 episodes. Here we go. All right, Caleb, we're starting NFL talk. Let's just touch base. You and I are both fans of teams in this division. The NFC East. How embarrassing is it to be a fan of the NFC East? I want a true opinion right now.
Pretty embarrassing. Because, even if you win the division, your division still sucks. So you're not really – you're a division winner, but at what cost? What all did you really win? Depending on your record as well, because 9 times out of 10, whoever wins the division is going to have a losing record, especially the way that the two teams in the NFC East played last week that faced off against each other. I know I texted you during that game and said the Eagles should be up by at least 20 right now, and I think they were only up 4 in the first quarter, and they should have been up 20. So it's very sad to see.
And technically, if you look at the stats, you and I touched base on this before the episode started. If you look at the stats, you would think the Cowboys would have won. You would literally think the Cowboys would have won. Let's look at first downs total. 21 first downs for the Cowboys, 18 for the Eagles. Okay, total plays. Cowboys had a total of 79 plays. Eagles had a total of 58. Total amount of yards in the whole entire game. This is the mind-boggling thing right here. Cowboys had 265 yards total. Whole entire game. All that's passing and that's rushing. And the Eagles came out of the game with 222.
Can I ask you something because you're obviously a Cowboys fan. For Kyle Allen, the week that we played you guys, I can't remember the exact week, but Kyle Allen went 15 for 25. I believe it was his first or second week starting with this team. 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You look at this Eagles team, who on paper is a lot better team. Let's be honest. And he threw 2 interceptions, I believe, and also 2 touchdowns, and I think he threw the ball 20-some times, maybe 40-some times. But 2 interceptions against a very bad and kind of shaken up defense. That's not a good look for your franchise quarterback.
What won the Eagles the game is having 2 special teams defensive touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's won the game. Because you take those 14 points away, it's a 9-9 score still.
Yeah, and I don't know. Carson Wentz can move the ball down the field. I completely give him that, but
can he really though?
Sometimes.
Exactly.
But then again, you can't score. Even if you are moving the ball down the field, you still can't score, and you score 1 time in the first quarter. It's not a good look for this Eagles team. Not a good look for this Dallas team.
It's definitely not good for Dallas. Oh my gosh, no.
But
I hate it.
it's kind of understandable though. You guys have lost everyone in Dallas, and not even you don't even have to be a Dallas fan to look at that franchise and say Dak should be their franchise quarterback. Um, you guys lost your franchise quarterback, so Zeke hasn't been playing well this year, and you guys dumped a bunch of money into him, which is kind of backfiring on you guys. So
Big time.
it's a big struggle down there for you guys. So it's kind of understandable. But this Eagles team, like you just look at it and you look at the rest of the division, you should be like, wow, you should be winning the division by a lot, but you're not.
And before the season started, all the experts, from ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, they all literally said that the Eagles would be dominating this year, be 11-6, 10-7, just have a above 500 record. But where's that team at that they saw? And they don't really have any key injuries on their team.
Yeah, I can't.
Cowboys have an excuse. They lost their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback. They lost their whole entire O-line. The average age for O-line right now is 22 years old. I said that last week. 22 years old. Those kids should still be in college. You don't got Zach Martin. You don't got Tyron Smith. You don't got Leo Collins. Joe Looney, who is replacing Travis Frederick, who retired. Joe Looney hurt. And when Zach Martin is in the game, he's not playing guard like he's supposed to play. He's playing right tackle because he has to fill that spot and help out. As an O-lineman, you got to be mobile. You got to be versatile. And he's doing the best he can, but it's not his normal position.
Yeah.
Defense, Banderish, boom, broke his collarbone week 1. Boom, he was out for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks. He's out. Jalen Smith got paid. I'm done trying. DeMarcus Lawrence got paid. I'm done trying. DBs, none. None at all.
I think that's the biggest thing with the NFL is some of these players, you give them that max contract that they think they deserve. And, they perform like they deserve. But once you give it to them, a lot of them don't perform like they deserve that money anymore. They just fall off.
100%.
And that's what I kind of hate about the NFL. Because it makes it not fun to watch. Because if you're not out there giving your all, then why are you out there playing?
Exactly. I'm saying starting middle linebacker in NFL, if you cannot run sideline to sideline and you're getting paid $80 million a year, something's wrong.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
And as a Dallas fan, we got 2 people in defense doing that. DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith. We got 1 guy on offense, Ezekiel Elliott.
And he fumbled twice that game, didn't he? Or was that the game before? It might have been the game before.
You talking about against the Eagles?
Yeah, he didn't fumble against the Eagles. Never mind. But he fumbled twice the game before.
The Nutrients had 2 fumbles.
I can't remember. I was trying to find the exact episode of where we did our breakdowns of each division and what I had the Eagles going, because I remember I had them winning the division. And I still believe they can, possibly. Maybe because it's a big toss-up for this division. But I had them at least having a good record. And they're 3-4 and 1, sitting on top of the division. So, yeah, I'm just going to recap on that. Our division is terrible right now. It's the worst in NFL.
Oh, it's probably the worst division in NFL history, right this season.
Yeah.
And
because whoever wins is, like I said, whoever wins is going to have a losing record.
Yeah, 100%. And I know they're people are already saying the Cowboys' defense is literally historical, the worst defense in NFL history. Crazy.
That must suck.
Crazy. It's crazy. But that's what happens. You drive a slot receiver 18th overall. That's what happens.
Sure.
You actually draft a defensive player, what you actually need. You'd be fine, but no. We need the stars. Which I'm not gonna lie, CeeDee Lamb is playing very well. I like it a lot for the future. But divide your money somewhere else. Because here soon,
I agree.
If he's performing well, you know what that means? Pay up.
I agree.
And so you're gonna put all that money into him, Cooper, and then crap, we ran out of money. We can't get back to our starting quarterback anymore. Sorry, buddy. He's on the back burner again. No. Hell no.
I think honestly, do you think it kind of would depend on them where they fall in the draft this year if they pay Dak? Do you think they just might take a risk on getting I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where they would fall in the draft right now, but
Oh, we're top 5.
so I mean, you think y'all think y'all would try to pull a Justin Fields if he goes in the draft, or you think y'all are going to pay Dak?
I think with Dak, since he got franchise tag, he won't get paid again. He won't get paid this year either, because they're gonna say you got hurt, you didn't play a whole season. Let's see what
So
you
it
do.
doesn't count. Yeah.
We'll see what you do next season. And
You got to hate that for Dak.
100%. I would hate that thing more than anything, but it's part of life. You know, it happens. It's a game of football, and you play in the NFL, and they have standards. Yes, you're supposed to always stay healthy, you know, work through injuries, but this man fractured his ankle.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I mean, from his first 4 games, and he was off to the best start, almost like the best start in almost NFL history, or one of the best starts in NFL history. Um, Off of those 4 starts, I'm sorry, but you got to pay the man. Like, he deserves it for what he's done for your program, or not your program, your team or your organization. So far is tremendous. I mean, he's been a good quarterback for them, and they just haven't dumped money into him for some reason. I think if you put that money into him, you'll see a big. I think if they sign him over this season, you'll see that big leap. You'll see another good start.
To me, I mean, I get what you're saying, but like he's coming back from like a very bad injury. Like,
That's true. I mean, maybe don't give him all the money he wants, but definitely give him some kind of a contract. Another franchise tag, I think, is just a slap in the face to him.
Yeah, I say just give him another offer. If he doesn't like it, then like, listen, man, like this is why we're thinking this. You know, we don't think you'll be 100% ever again. That kind of thing. You know, we don't want to jeopardize it.
That would suck if he doesn't come back 100%. But I think he will go through the right physical training and everything like that, and I think he'll come back.
Yeah,
at least 90%. And
but
then
like when you come back from that injury, like, you're thinking like you might feel the doctor might say you're 100%, but like you're still gonna have in your head like that worry of having it's gonna be your off, like your whole mentality, your psychological part of it. It's gonna be off. Like you're gonna be thinking like, I don't want to do it again. I'm not gonna make this run. Okay. I'm not gonna do a scramble right here. I'm just gonna throw it away. You see what I'm saying? Like he's gonna be scared to make that play again because he doesn't want to happen.
Do you think that would be better for his game though?
What?
If he's more of a pocket passing quarterback. So say he comes back next year.
NFL's changed. If you're just a pocket passing quarterback, you do not play well. I'll say that right now. NFL has changed.
I mean, I could agree with that. I think with the O-line, I mean, you guys have a good O-line. So I think with the O-line you have, I think he could get decent enough protection to at least have a, 5-6 yard, at least throw down or look for a deep route downfield. I don't know. I don't think, yes, scrambling is important in the NFL now, but I don't think it's as important as it will be in the next, 4 or 5 years when you start getting, more mobile quarterbacks and that are in college now. Because everyone's kind of caught on to Lamar's game. Like, yeah, Lamar still plays at an intense level and is still, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I think, like you said a couple episodes ago, he's not going to have another MVP year like that just because, A, teams have caught on to the way he plays, the way he gets out of the pocket, and B, he's already done that. Like, it's kind of hard to improve on what he's done from his MVP year, especially when you have Patrick Mahomes performing the way he is, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson.
But if you look at the guys you just stated, Pat Mahomes, not a pocket passer. Russell Wilson, not a pocket passer. Aaron Rodgers, not a pocket passer because he can run.
He can run, but he doesn't run a lot.
But he rolls out. He scrambles though.
I
Aaron
mean,
Rodgers does scramble.
yeah, for sure. But do you really think Dak is not gonna at least get out of the pocket a little bit if he comes back?
But no, but you're saying if he's
Like I'm saying, like I don't think he's gonna tuck it and run. I don't think he'd have to tuck it and run. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers usually really doesn't have to tuck it and run. If he was in Dallas, he wouldn't have to tuck it and run. He would have better receivers.
well,
He only really has to tuck it and run because let's be serious. He has one receiver, and usually that receiver's covered or double teamed.
but like I don't know what you said, like a pocket passer. A pocket passer to me is like, yeah, you can roll out, but you still throw the ball. But those guys are like Aaron Rodgers to me is not a pocket passing quarterback.
No, I don't believe he is either. But
Now in college, he probably was, but since coming to the NFL, knowing he has no receivers, he's worked on.
Scrambling.
Yes, he's worked.
But I mean, I don't know. I believe he could come back in at least 4 games in or 3 games in, get comfortable. I think if he comes back next year, they would have that preseason. So I would hope they would give him some reps if he's at least 90 or 100% and he feels like he can go out there and play. Give him some reps in preseason, just see how he feels, and go from there. Because, that's your franchise guy. I think.
I agree to that, but it's just the fact that like it happened. Like we all know. Like,
yeah, no, I definitely agree. Because after my freshman year when I got my concussion, I was like, yeah, I don't want to play football anymore because I don't want to have a concussion. Because it sucked. Like, it really sucked. So I definitely agree with that. And I can't even imagine just being on national television, seeing your ankle dangling like that, and like millions of people seeing it because it's a Cowboys game, so everyone's seeing it. It was crazy.
It was crazy.
And that's probably going to be in your head even more, knowing that it was on national television and millions of people seeing it. Like,
and to me, like, it happened at the worst timing because it's the worst division and you have a chance to win it.
Especially with the start he had. Like, I can't get over that 4-game start he had. It was ridiculous.
But that's the part where I know NFC East is embarrassing as a fan because when that happened, I knew the Cowboys' chances were done. It's crazy to even say that with the division being that bad. Moving on to the Steelers. Steelers are 7-0 for the first time in franchise history. First time. Well, after this week, they're going to be 8-0 because they play the Cowboys. So we know that. Just going to put that out there. I already know. But what are your thoughts, like, how this team is performing so well? Like, they have their starting quarterback back. Juju's playing well. Claypool's emerging. James Conner's playing well. Benny Snell, the backups are doing well. O-line's playing phenomenal, protecting Big Ben. That defense is dominant. It's the best defense in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the difference is from last season to this season to make that team so dominant?
I think A, having Big Ben back, and B, getting Claypool. And they made a couple moves in the offseason on defense, didn't they? I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they did. But I think those are the 3 key factors. But I think having Big Ben back is just a key factor. I mean, you know what Mike Tomlin can do because he had a good team last year. I mean, with a backup quarterback, like they were still pretty good. I mean, they still fought in games. Let's give it to them.
I'd counter that. I don't think they were pretty good last year at all because they didn't have James Conner, they didn't have Big Ben, nor Mason Rudolph.
But I mean, they finished.
They went 8-8.
Which I mean, if you look at it without your All-Pro quarterback, I mean, your starting quarterback at that.
I mean, I'm giving props to Mike Tomlin for what he did with that team.
Like, right. That's what I'm saying. So you take his skill, his skill sets at coaching. And then you just put it to where Big Ben can come back and do his thing. I watched a couple interviews and people that play for the Steelers. They said, they've been under Mike Tomlin. They've said, he just lets you be you. And as long as you buy into the team, and they say that's a key part of his organization. and how he runs his team, and I think that's why they're so good this year. And I can agree with that because, he just lets the players go out there and do them. You see Juju out there doing his thing. You see Claypool out there doing his thing, James Conner, and then that defense. And a lot of people are saying this defense can go down to be one of the best defenses in history. And, I don't want to jump the gun too quick yet, but I could somewhat agree with that. Like, this team is very dominant, like you said, or this defense is very dominant. But this team overall, I mean, I feel like they've all just bought in and they really believe that they can make a run. And having Big Ben back, I think, is just the biggest boost.
And I agree. I think that's the best one. Like, the best thing that happened, that team's having him back, the veteran quarterback he is and the stars he has. And it's pretty – I'm glad. Like, I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm glad to see that the Steelers are playing well because Big Ben came back and just performed very well. Very, very well. So, now after we touch base on that, let's talk about the Buccaneers had a little close game with the team from the NFC East, Giants. That was a close game. Final score of that game was 25-23. Very weird score, but that's what the final score was. What are your thoughts on that game?
I didn't watch this game, but yeah, like you said, very weird score. I mean, to even see that, they were down in the first half was even more crazy to me. I just think that he's had this team bought in, I think, then.
Brady?
I mean,
or Joe Judge?
Joe Judge. I think he has his team bought in. So, it's tough not having Saquon. But being able to see what Danny Dimes is doing down there is kind of impressive. Kind of, he's doing his thing. But I don't think this is too much to worry about for Tampa. I mean, you came out with the win. Yeah, it's a weird score. It's a bad win, but it's a win, and you get AB back this week.
I mean, is he back or is he finally playing this week?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I mean, they did say AB will be playing week 9, and that's this week. And I'm kind of looking forward to see that little connection they got because I did hear AB is living with Tom Brady down in Tampa.
Really?
Yes, I heard it.
Wow, I did not know that. It doesn't surprise me though because, like I told you, we both agreed last week. We feel like he's the reason that he went down there. Tom Brady went down to Tampa and was kind of able to build his own locker room around what he wanted and do his thing down there. And he knows AB can still ball out. He just has some off the field issues. And do you think Tom Brady was talking to, I don't even know who he would have to talk to, his parole officer or whoever, and be like, look, I want him back in the NFL. He also probably talked to the NFL PA or commissioner about this and said, I want him back in the NFL on my team. He'll come live with me. I'll make sure, his head's right and everything. What do y'all think about this? And they look at the salary cap and they're like, oh, well, y'all got the money to do it. Let's at least have some other teams work him out first. Do it this way. But the parole officer was like, oh, yeah, I want him to live with Tom Brady. Make sure his head's right and everything. And he's going to ball out.
Hey, Tom, can I get an autographed jersey real quick? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, who knows what really went down on why, but Tom Brady is definitely the reason why AB went there, 100%. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, he lived with Tom Brady when he went to New England. He was living with Tom Brady there too. And
yeah, I remember that.
And it's just kind of crazy, how all the weapons Tom Brady has. But my question is it too many weapons? Is there too many weapons now? Because
yeah, that is a good question. Can that be a thing though?
Having too many weapons?
Yeah, hotheads. I want the ball.
Because I'm thinking like this: you got Mike Evans, and you got Chris Godwin, who've been there from the start, never left the team or drafted by that team. Mm-hmm. They get Tom Brady, they're happy, they're glad. We got a quarterback who's gonna throw us the ball. We're gonna make some playoffs finally. They're happy, and then they bring in AB, who was the leading receiver 3 years ago in the NFL.
First, they bring in Gronk, who has looked pretty good.
Yeah,
recently. So I mean, it's
to me
another weapon that you kind of take away from them.
because what I've noticed in the Bucks, they're really big on the big plays,
Hmm.
Godwin and Mike Evans. But like now, like you bring in AB to the team, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, like, hold on a minute, I want my touches too. I've been with this organization from the start. This cat better not come in and take my touches. And you know how AB is when he was at the Steelers. Throw me the damn ball. I want the ball. Why is Juju getting the ball? And that's why they parted ways.
Yeah. I'm
So
trying
having
to look at.
weapons can be a good thing, but also and definitely a bad thing.
I mean, Mike Evans had 5 touches last week with a touchdown, and then Gronk had 4. I think with as much as their run game has kind of struggled this year, I mean, they haven't been great running the ball, which, let's be honest, you don't really need to be when you have Tom Brady in the backfield. So, but I don't think Mike Evans' touches are going to drop too much. I mean, AB's probably going to get. I mean, someone's definitely is. I don't think. You think Gronk's? I don't think Gronk's touches drop. Because I mean, he's a big check down.
Like I get you're saying like Gronk has touches. To me, like a tight end doesn't really matter in this equation because
you're just looking at deep passes.
Yes, the receivers.
Yeah, then I mean, I don't know who would you take? I mean, would you take Mike Evans or? I mean, who do you think whose touches drop the most? I think it probably goes and their touches. I think it probably goes AB once he gets fully into the rotation or the lineup, which he probably will this week. AB then Mike Evans I think will be second.
Yeah, I think Godwin's touch will drop because Godwin and AB are the same player.
Mm-hmm.
AB is not 6'3".
Yeah.
Mike Evans is 6'4".
I mean, Mike Evans is just such a dependable target because of his height.
Stay healthy. Godwin and Evans got to stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, Godwin didn't even play last week, so
that's hard from this season. Evans has been hurt. Godwin's been hurt. It's been hard. That's why they brought AB in.
Which, I mean, can you blame him though? If you're like you said earlier with Dak, I mean, as part of your contract is to stay healthy if you can. So, if you're not performing or not staying healthy, then it's a business. Like, we got to bring in someone else to replace you.
Exactly, and that's what they told him. But to me, they're probably thinking as themselves, as 2 players who've been drafted by the team, never left the team with a terrible quarterback, Jameis Winston, last year. They stuck with it. It's like a slap in the face to them, like, all right, you two have been here, but we're going to bring a new guy in, who's hasn't played in a year, and we're going to see what he does for y'all. Maybe help us out, maybe motivate you to, stay healthy, be better.
I'm gonna give you this type of scenario and tell me if you think this is what it's probably going to be. So, you think it's just going to be Mike Evans on a go route and then AB on slants across the middle or curls? And if you see Mike Evans, beat that defender, or you think with Tom Brady, I mean, he can put the ball anywhere just for Mike Evans to get it, especially with his height. You think that's just what the play calling is going to be like now? I mean, because if I'm the offensive coordinator, that's probably how I'm utilizing this team. Because like you said, Mike Evans has that height advantage. He's 6'5". He's huge. AB, I mean, he's huge as well, but he's not as big.
Maybe he's 5'11".
He's 5. No, I'm saying like he's short, but like he's still a big receiver. Like arms and like he's muscular. I'll say that.
Mike Evans gonna be on the outside on the right. Godwin's gonna be on the left. AB's playing slot. Scotty Miller, who has been playing very well for the Bucs, you're cut.
Don't think they just use him as a reserve.
Well, I'm not saying like cut, like you're off the team. I'm saying like you got.
You're just not getting touches.
Yeah, you done.
You get one, maybe one a game. I mean, he had
Yeah.
3 last week, so yeah, you're probably getting one a game. Yeah, but I mean, if you're Leonard Fournette, if you're Mike Evans, I mean, if you're in the Tampa Bay locker room, you just gotta love it. I mean, you have Tom Brady down there, you have the GOAT, you have AB who could, be arguably one of the best receivers, and you have Gronkowski, who's one of the best tight ends to ever play, if not the best. Then you have a good defense performing. So you just got to love your situation, whether you're getting touches or not. I mean, if you stay with this team, you're probably winning a Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but within the next 3 years.
Well, that concludes NFL talk right there. Time to move on to the Week 9 NFL picks. Last night, Packers and 49ers. Caleb and I both picked the Packers. I just saw on Twitter, Instagram. That's who decides when the game for the game happened. But now it's time to get into the Sunday and Monday games. So, first game on Sunday, 1 o'clock game. Broncos taking on the Falcons. Who you like?
I like the Broncos in this one. They put out a very impressive win last week against the Chargers.
I 100% agree. I like the Broncos, too, coming with a hot start. And the Falcons being a little shaky this year. Next game. It's going to be a good one, a good 1 o'clock game. Seahawks and Bills.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be tough, too. I think Seahawks pull it out, though. It's going to be a tough game for them to pull out, but I think they pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough game to decide. I like the Bills in this game personally because I think the defense for the Bills can hold up more than what the Seattle can. And Josh Allen's a great player. Stephon Diggs playing well. And we all know about the offense of Seattle. But I just think that the Bills can help shut down that offense of Seattle to get the outcome win. Next game, Titans and Bears. Another good game. 2 5-win teams going at it.
I like the Bears in this one. You said you like the Bears?
No, you like the Bears every week.
Yeah, I mean, I like their defense. I think, and their offense is kind of coming into play. So I'm gonna stick with it. Titans also. I went against them last week and I won. I told you, Joey Burrow.
Exactly, and that's why Titans are gonna win this week. Coming off a pissed off week of losing, and they got one guy to know that guy has Derrick Henry. Next game, Ravens and Colts.
I like the Ravens. They played really well last week against the tough defense in the Steelers. Colts played well last week too, but I think the Ravens come out on top.
I like the Ravens too. I think it's gonna be hard to stop Lamar Jackson. That's all. I think the Ravens. Next game, Chiefs and Panthers. Christian McCaffrey has been practicing this weekend, especially back. So, what do you like?
I like the Chiefs.
Yeah, no question.
Big time.
Next game, Lions and Vikings. Matt Stafford on the COVID list, so he's out this Sunday. So, who do you like?
I like the Vikings. Without Matt Stafford, I don't know how good this team's going to be.
100% agree. When I did my list, Matt Stafford wasn't out yet. So I had the Lions down. But since it came across my phone this morning, he's out.
You're sticking with the Lions?
I'm going with the Vikings.
Oh.
Pushing it up. Giants in Washington.
I'm going with the football team. Impressive win and then a bye week. So
that's exactly what I'm going. I'm going with the football team coming up a bye week and getting ready for a shaky Giants team. I like it a lot. Next game, Texans and Jaguars. 2 1-6 teams going at it.
I like the Texans. I just think Deshaun Watson will probably have a tremendous game this week. I saw, obviously Will Fuller staying there, so at least, they're not getting rid of everyone in the receiver corps for him.
Exactly. And I'm not going to say much because I like the same reason why you do. I like the Texans. Steelers and Cowboys.
I like the Steelers, big time.
Oh, without a doubt. If you pick the Cowboys, you don't know football. Raiders and Chargers.
I like the Chargers. I like the underdog in this one. I think just being able to perform the way that Justin Herbert's been able to perform, I think that loss last week against the Chargers will be on a little chip on his shoulder for this week, and I think he comes out on top.
I like the Raiders. I think Derek Carr's are playing very well this year. The weapons he has with Henry Ruggs, Josh Jacobs, I'm liking that. I like the Raiders.
No.
All right, whatever you say. Battle of two number one overall picks. No, two number one overall quarterbacks. Kyler Murray versus Tua Tagovailoa. Cardinals versus Dolphins. Who you like?
I like the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is just unstoppable. Tua did, however, get his first win last week against a very impressive Rams defense, or a pretty impressive Rams defense. Yeah. I'll say that. But this Cardinals defense is impressive too. So he has two tough matchups in his first two starts.
That sucks. It really does suck.
It does. But he has been able to sit behind a good quarterback. So, I think while he's thrown into kind of a shitty situation, he's also been in a good situation so far. So
I like the Cardinals as well in this game. I think Kyler Murray and D-Hop, that connection is better than any connection right now in the NFL. To be honest, I think it is. Sunday Night Football, which is going to be a good game. Not a good game, a great game to watch for Sunday night. Saints and Bucks. AB is here. Just remember that. AB is here.
And
Michael Thomas is finally practicing again.
Bucks won the first game, didn't they? Their first matchup. Saints did. Yeah, I called them right, and I called them splitting this season. So I think Buccaneers win this game, especially if AB comes back. I don't.
100%.
The Buccaneers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just don't know how this Saints defense is going to be able to handle all those weapons that we just, has probably spent 20 minutes talking about. It's unreal, all those weapons they have.
And I like Buccaneers too, like I said. Monday Night Football, which is going to be a terrible game to watch. The Patriots versus Jets. Patriots.
I know you love the Jets in this one.
100% like the underdog.
I'm going with the Patriots. I think Cam Newton is just ready for a bounce back game.
Yes.
And this is a perfect game to have a bounce back game. On Monday night too. And Cam Newton, from what I remember, usually performs pretty well Monday nights. So probably should be a really good game for him.
Exactly, and I like the Patriots as well. After a bounce back from losing to the Bills, I think the Patriots get this win against the Jets, who are terrible. And that's the conclusion of the NFL picks. I forgot to mention last week, Caleb and I both went 8-6, putting the overall season record at Caleb 64, 34-1, and me 66, 32-1. So I got a 2-game lead still. See if it happens after this week. Moving on to college football. A lot of big things happened this past week. A lot of scary things happened. Like I said, before the episode started, dominant teams had a scare. And one was Clemson. Boom. Almost lost to Boston College. That was a scare. WVU beats a top 17 team, Kansas State. Cincinnati dominates Memphis. Everyone thought it was going to be a close game. Nope, not at all. Now, UNC, who was dominating the first half of the season, loses again, cuts their playoff chance. Now, for another undefeated team that no one even thought was going to be undefeated this year so far, Coastal Carolina. They were projected to be last in their conference, and they're undefeated in a top 20 team. After everything I said, Caleb, give me your thoughts on the rundown.
So, first I will touch on that Clemson scare. Very big scare for them. Kind of shows how important Trevor Lawrence is to that offense. But then again, I think DJ Ugalele kind of, your first game out there, it's going to be tough.
Before you continue, you know what I thought of when I saw how that score was going? It reminded me of when Trevor Lawrence came in and filled for Kelly Bryant. Go ahead.
When he struggled at first?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's bound to happen with every quarterback. No matter who you play. Me personally, because I have a lot of hype around DJ Ugalele, I've even said on this podcast, I think he's going to have a great year after Trevor Lawrence leaves, and I think he could break records and lead them to a national championship. which I hate to say because I'm an Ohio State fan. But anyways, I would rather it be, this Boston College game where he has the scare than a Clemson or a Notre Dame game this week, or, UNC 2 weeks down the road or something like that, which, they lost this week against Virginia or last week against Virginia. But I think they pull it together this week for Notre Dame. I just don't think that they can pull that one off, Notre Dame.
Clemson scare. I was watching that game. And, I wasn't worried at all for Clemson. I knew Dabo Swinney had something up his sleeve, the ball rolling. And to me, it's the true freshman nerves. First start.
On the road. No, you were at home. Yeah. But
with your first career start, your nerves are there. You're on national TV. You're nervous. Your offense is set around Trevor Lawrence, and you're filling in for him. So it's, not made for you yet. So you're kind of trying to get used to it, throw the slots, that kind of thing. But he finally grew into it in the second half after having a halftime talk, and he came out on top. So I'm looking for a great game this Saturday for him again.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on what you said because that's actually probably one of the best points I've heard is that offense isn't made for you yet. So many coaches, I think that's why Lincoln Riley's a quarterback whisperer. I think he also gets his players to buy in and he really develops them. But Dabo Swinney's able to develop a playbook around them.
Because you look at it, that offense is not the same offense it was when Deshaun Watson was there.
Mm-mm.
It was not.
He's able to switch that playbook for that quarterback. You look at Trevor Lawrence. Most of the, like you said, most of the throws are out routes or your corner routes or deep balls. He can make almost any throw you want him to make. DJ Uiagalelei is the same way, but the nerves and making an out route or a corner route or a go route pass is a lot harder than it is in high school or in college than it is in high school.
And you also look at, like I was saying, the playbook's made around Trevor Lawrence now. So when DJ got his first start, they're thinking okay, let's see what we're about to have for the next 3 years, and let's see what we can build off this game. Let's see what we can do with Trevor Lawrence's style. It wasn't really fitting because DJ Uiagalelei, he's known for tucking and running the ball, being 6'5" still. He's still known for doing that. And Trevor Lawrence isn't really known for running. You know what I'm saying? He can
a little bit more of a scrambler than anything. Exactly. Here's the thing, and I think this is why this Clemson team is probably going to win this game. I don't know. I think it probably will be a good game. This Notre Dame team, I don't think they're a team you should sleep on.
Talk about that yet. We're staying on topic here, buddy.
All right, but here's what I'm going to say. I think that being able to do that read, the read option with him and ETN, could be unstoppable. And then throw a couple of slant routes or out routes. You saw how he was able to get comfortable. But keeping that defense off balance would be big for them. So, yeah, I think being able, like you said, being able to revolve that offense around him and being able to run that read option would be big for them.
I agree. So, off Clemson now. Let's talk about Cincinnati real quick. Cincinnati's a top 6 team. Number 6, right? Yeah, number 6 in the country. Can they make the playoffs? That's all I know. Can they make the playoffs?
I don't know. I honestly don't, because I don't think that they would really put an American team in there. If you say, for instance, if you have a
one-loss
Georgia that loses to Alabama, I think they're probably going to put Georgia over Cincinnati, just because of the American Conference, and it's not fair.
It comes down to the score.
That's true.
If Alabama beats Georgia by 30, you're out. If you lose by 3, you're in.
That's true. I just don't know how confident they would be in putting an American team in the playoffs. Now, don't get me wrong. I think 3 or 4 different analysts had Cincinnati, or at least 2 or 3 had Cincinnati in their playoffs. I know Pat McAfee did when he did his for college football, had Cincinnati in the playoffs. So I think they could do it. This team's definitely good enough to do it. Desmond Ridder is a hell of a quarterback with that, throwing the ball and running the ball for 100+ yards every game. I just don't know how confident they would be in putting an American team in there.
The only thing I have a problem with, before we go move on to the next topic, is if you play in the Group of Five conference as a player, knowing you're undefeated and you know you won't make the playoffs, you literally start thinking to yourself, what the hell am I playing for then?
Yeah, I mean, that's why
am I trying my hardest week in and week out, being undefeated, I'm not even getting a chance?
I texted you.
8-team playoff.
That's why I texted you that we need that 18 playoff is because you get probably two of the best teams from maybe the SEC or like the SEC has two good teams.
Yes.
You get maybe two of those. You get an American Conference team, Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12. Everyone that wins their Conference 5
or 5 conference.
If you win your championship, you get to be in.
And then you have 3 groups. The one is the Group of 5. The Group of 5, who did the best. Other 2 is the other 2 best teams who lost.
We're in the Or if you have another really good Group of 5 team that is better than, a SEC team or has put up more points or whatever, like UCF like 3 years ago. Say Cincinnati was good and then UCF was also really good. You could have probably put both of them in the playoffs at the same time.
Because they got to play in the American Conference title game.
But I'm saying if UCF would have lost, like you probably could have put one of those in the playoffs. You don't think so? You think they still would have put a second Power 5 team in?
100%, I do. Only because they're gonna look at their strength of schedules and who they played throughout the season.
What if you have a team like BYU who's in the top 5?
That's what I'm about to get to. The BYU and Cincinnati are both right there, both undefeated going into the last week of the season. Hopefully BYU this week. But
would you put like your Power 5s and then your Group of 5? Would you put that second Group of 5 like BYU, at Independence, or a Notre Dame that if they're not in the ACC next year? They are in the Mountain West now. That's right.
But to me, what I would do, you have your 5 Power 5, champions. You have the one Group of 5 champion who's dominated, like Cincinnati this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 2 spots left. Well, then you got to break down, let's say, 4 different teams. You're going to look at who Georgia played.
Strength of schedule and everything.
Alabama's going to beat Georgia. Who Georgia played. Then you're going to look at ACC. Who's next in line? Oh, okay, Notre Dame. Put them in there. And now we have 2 right there. Then you look at let's go to the Big 10. Okay. You got Ohio State went 1 out. All right, Wisconsin, they haven't played a game. They played 1 game. But all right, Wisconsin has undefeated as well. Has 1 loss to Ohio State in the championship game. That's 3 teams. And then you look at BYU. BYU, let's see, all right, let's pull them down. They played the whole entire season, had this many games played, won by this much. But now we got to look at who their opponents played and see how their opponents did it too. That's what they do. They don't just look at the schedule.
Go off points and everything.
It's like a tree. You have the BYU at the top. They played Boise and they played, let's go with Western Kentucky. All right, who'd they play? All right,
they also go off by how much they won by and everything like that. Which, here's my biggest thing, because I don't know if – I think Cincinnati probably has a really good shot. Like I said, I'm 50-50 on it. But if BYU goes undefeated this year, I don't think they have – I don't think they have a good shot, like if they do.
They don't.
And
only because they played Western Kentucky.
And that's what sucks, because but this year, like, you shouldn't go off of who you play, because
yep, I agree to that.
You had to play who you could play. Yeah. Or did the Mountain West do in conference only, or are they doing like you can pick up 2 teams?
They're just not starting.
Okay. So Big 12 is the only one.
My bad. BYU's independent. BYU's independent.
I was gonna say, I thought they were independent.
They just play all Mountain West.
But they went to Mountain West this year.
No, because BYU's been playing the whole season. Mountain West is starting last week. BYU's been playing the whole season.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying is, I'm not 100% sure if you would put I mean, like I said, you had to play who you had to play this year.
I agree,
So,
Caleb. We got to move on. Coastal
what were you,
Carolina.
5-star? Oh, Coastal Carolina. Undefeated down there in Myrtle Beach, isn't it?
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. With the teal field.
I love it. I like seeing Coastal Carolina, what they're doing this year, because they were predicted to be last in their conference. They're playing very well and putting them at 6-0, top 20 in the country, and they're just proving people wrong.
Put up 51. I mean, they played a Georgia State team, don't get me wrong, but they put up 51 points.
People had Georgia State beating them.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they were predicted last in their division, and they're putting up 51 points on teams. It's insane. I love to see it, like you said, because seeing the underdog be able to go out there and probably win their division now it's fun to see.
It is fun. I'm glad for them. I hope they keep out undefeated. I ain't gonna lie. I'd like to see it.
I love seeing them get their attention too because their field is amazing.
Ain't better than Boise's.
I don't know. That teal is nice.
Knock it off. If you're doubting Boise, this is the third time so far in the past 5 minutes. I'm not liking it. The disrespect I'm getting. But now, Pac-12 starting this week. Finally, we're going to see what Oregon's like, what Stanford's like, and USC is like. USC and Oregon are only top 25 teams out of the Pac-12 right now. Game already is canceled because of COVID. Cal versus Washington. I'm looking forward to see what Pac-12 is all about this year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a lot of high hopes for Pac-12 teams in either football or basketball this year. But you never know. I might get surprised. But no, I just –
Coastal Carolina being undefeated, that's a surprise.
You said what?
Yeah, everything's surprising this year. Coastal Carolina being undefeated, that's a surprise.
That's true. I told you before the show, I don't know how they're going to adapt not having Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
That's a big big adjustment.
That when we talk about the best teams.
That's true.
So, that time, episode 5-star performances, Caleb. Breakdown. Give me your number 5 of your 5-star performer.
My number 5 guy is Javian High from Coastal Carolina University. Wide receiver, 5 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As, like I said, they got that big win last week, 51-0.
My number 5 guy is Romeo Dobbs, wide receiver from Nevada. Last week we had his quarterback, Carson Strong. This week his receiver, 7 receptions, 219 yards, and 1 TD versus UNLV in that 37-19 win.
My number 4 guy is Nick Starkel, quarterback from San Jose State. He was 34 for 47, 467 yards, and 5 touchdowns, as they got a pretty decent win this week.
Yes, and my number 4 guy is the same exact guy, Nick Starkel. Quarterback, San Jose State. Played New Mexico this past week, won 38-21. Usually San Jose State is known for passing the ball a lot because I know that from being a Mountain West fan. And Nick Starkel played very well this past week.
My number 3 guy is Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback, 28 for 34, 318 yards, and 4 touchdowns, as he got a pretty big win this week as well, which was kind of expected by everybody at Penn State.
My number 3 guy is Daim Brown, wide receiver from UNC, 11 catches, 240 yards, and 3 TDs versus University of Virginia, when that loss 44-41. Good game by him, but not a good game for the team.
My number 2 guy is Devonta Smith, Bama wide receiver, 11 receptions, 203 yards, and 4 touchdowns, as they had a pretty big win this week as well, 41-0 over Mississippi State.
My number 2 guy is Muhammad Ibrahim, running back from Minnesota, 41 carries, 207 yards, 4 TDs versus Maryland. And that game was a good game. Even though they lost 45-44, Muhammad had 4 TDs. All his TDs were in the first half. My
number 1 guy, Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral, as he had a outstanding game this week. 31 for 34, 412 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And don't quote me. He's only a sophomore. So this kid, unreal.
Well, Caleb, I thought you wouldn't have him. But my number 1 guy is Matt Corral, too. Quarterback from Ole Miss, like Caleb said, his stats, the big win over Vanderbilt, 54-21. Like Caleb said, he's a sophomore, and he plays very well, and he's doing a great job in that lane Kiffin offense, but also Rich Rod offense. Remember that. Lane Kiffin, Rich Rod, that's a scary offense in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair at some point.
It is. It is.
Especially when you get a kid that can throw the ball like this.
3 incompletions. 3.
Yeah. I mean, they went
Right.
up against the 0-3 Vanderbilt team, but you gotta give credit. You know, you're still going up against a Power 5 SEC team at the end of the day.
Yes, and that concludes our Power 5 performances this past week. Like I always say every week, this is what we do every week. We do break down. We look through the stats, look who had the best performance, who had deserved a 5-star rating. You might not have been a 5-star in high school. You might have been a 3, 4, even a 2-star. But this past weekend, you were a 5-star performer, and that's why you're on the list. Boom, bada bing. Best games of the week. The best one, in my opinion, is happening tonight. Number 9 BYU versus number 21 Boise State. We also got going on Saturday. 23 Michigan taking on number 13 Indiana. Then we got unranked WU coming in to Austin and playing number 22 Texas. Down the SEC, number 8 Florida taking on number 5 Georgia. And the ACC, number 1 Clemson without Trevor Lawrence taking on number 4 Notre Dame. And a game to look forward to. It's always a good game in the Pac-12. Since it's starting this week, Stanford traveling number 12 Oregon. Boom. Caleb, what game are you looking forward to watch this week?
My number one game probably will be this WVU Texas game, because I believe they can get the upset. I don't think Texas is that great.
Texas is back.
No. No, I don't. And WVU pulled off a really impressive win last week against Kansas State. Offense performed well. Defense obviously performed well. If the offense can carry over that momentum into this week, this team is a top 25 team come
100%.
Come Sunday. The second game, I want to say probably that BYU and Boise game.
Fun fact, though, this is what I like about it. That game's tonight, so I can watch that game tonight and then watch another good game tomorrow. I like it. I like the way the schedule lines up.
Yeah. It's 2 top 25 teams battling out west. Boise, obviously a good program. They've been a good program for a while.
Love me some Boise boys.
BYU, last time they've had a season like this was like 19-something. So it's nice to see for them. But I don't know. I can't predict a winner for this game.
It's easy. Boise State. That's all I got to say. We're good.
I don't know. I might just go against you and say BYU.
I hate you. Don't say that. You can say about the Cowboys football team anytime you want to, but not my Boise boys. Ride or die fan right here. But no, I like Boise State in this game because the defense has played very well in the 2 games they played. First game, we had Hank Backmeer, starting quarterback, played phenomenal. He didn't travel last week with the team. They played Air Force. But Jake Spear, the transfer from USC, played great as well. So whoever's starting quarterback for Boise can play great. They got a great receiver with Shakir Khalil, phenomenal player. And I think the defense is strong, solid, good linebacker core. I think they can put a lot of pressure on Zach Wilson and make him throw mistakes. Going on the W Texas game, I like this game a lot because, first off, Tom Herman saved his job last week. I'll put that out there. He saved his job for winning that game. Second, Neil Brown, you got to win a big one now. You're going into Texas, you got to win the big one. I'm sorry, yeah, you only been there for this your second year going to the program, but you still got to win.
You think he saved his job, or you think like it's just you won that little, just a little pat on the back, like congratulations, but here, if you lose this one to West Virginia, like
I think what he did was he bought more time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a little pat on the back, time extension.
More time.
If you take another loss, though, we might be having talks.
Yeah. So out of this game, I think the way W played last week against Kansas State, it can carry over when they play Texas. But Texas is a better offense than Kansas State. I'll say that. But the defense for Texas is not as good as Kansas State's defense. No, not at all. So that's where your odds and ends are going to be at in this game. It's the best units are facing each other. Let's say, I mean, we also know WU's defense is one of the best. It's been a long time, and they're playing an offense from Texas, which is pretty good. I'm gonna love to see that matchup. When it's offense versus defense, W and offense, Texan defense, it's gonna be a shit show. I'll be honest with you, it is. It really is. W finally scored offensive points last week. Another game I'm looking forward to watch. You could say the SC matchup with Florida and Georgia, but I'm not really too worried about that one because I think Georgia's going to come out and win in that one. I think Kyle Trask is a great quarter for Florida, but it's not going to be enough to do that against Georgia defense.
I don't know. I think Kyle Trask might come out on top in that one. I was going to touch on that one after you got over that Florida or that WVU game. I like this Florida offense. I think they've starting to really come into.
The Georgia team's so much better.
That's true. I don't know. I think Florida could sneak one out. I think they could sneak one out. But yeah, like you said, I'm not too worried about it. I think it's just going to be a great game either way. Whoever wins. One game I did kind of want to touch on is, which I'm going to probably love watching it. I'll probably tune in for a little bit. Is the Cincinnati versus Houston. I want to watch Desmond Ryder run all over Dana Holgorsen in that defense. Yes. To see kind of like could be like a Kyler Murray when he was at Oklahoma, or we could go back in the day when Trayvon Boykin did it to us. Remember that? That's what it's going to kind of be like for
Jalen Hurts ran all over us. Oh no, Jalen Hurts was there last year.
Yeah. But yeah, I probably blew a lot of people's minds right there with that Trayvon Boykin because they're probably like, oh wow, I forgot about him.
Well,
but yeah, he it's gonna be fun to see because he kind of really struggles defensively, and having a mobile quarterback who can throw the ball too, he's not gonna do very well against that.
Yeah, I'll probably tune in that game too. Now you said that. I mean, I saw it on the schedule. But I'm thinking it's not really a best game. It's more like my opinion, I'd watch the game kind of thing. But a game that's another good one, Clemson, Notre Dame. Can Clemson survive against Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence? That's the key right there. Can DJ Ugalele? How do you say his last name?
I believe Ugalele.
Okay.
Ugalele.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, we're going off of that. I think he can play well. It's just that Notre Dame's a pretty good team this year. And I'm looking forward to that game to see how he can perform in a big-time moment. And that would actually set my standards high for him if he comes out with big on top of this game for his career at Clemson.
Yeah. Do you think they're just going to stomp all over? I personally don't, but I feel like the way people are talking this game up, they feel like Clemson's going to kind of stomp all over this Notre Dame team.
I think it's going to be a 10-point win.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be
a 30-point
blowout. Yeah, and honestly, I can't really say I would believe it would be a blowout if Trevor Lawrence were playing, because I believe that this Notre Dame team is good enough to at least compete this year with them in some sense. Maybe second half they would come out and blow them out, but thinking if Trevor Lawrence were playing in the first half, they would be able to play. But, yeah, like I said earlier, I think if they can run that read option with him and ETN, throw a couple slants, a couple out routes that he's kind of got used to, use that playbook around him, around his skill sets, they could win this game pretty single-handedly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. A lot of college football to watch this past week. It concludes episode 91 from Nationwide Sports Talk. Caleb, say your peace, love, and goodbyes.
All right, guys. See you guys next weekend. Be safe. And we are doing polls every week now, every Saturday and Sunday for the games and Monday. So tune in on Instagram and Twitter, and come join the fun and give us your thoughts on who you think is going to be winning the games for Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, like Caleb said, definitely check out our Twitter and Instagram. We do polls on there. And just give us your feedback about what you want us to talk about as well, too. Like, you can vote, but then slide up on a story on Instagram and say, hey, talk about this for the next week. And we definitely will. We'll take it into consideration, put in our new episode for next week. Polls on Twitter. Don't just vote, but just like after you vote, go on the bottom and reply back why you think that team's going to win. Just give us your thoughts. We want to hear your feedback too. And it'd be a great way to, make our fans, come together, connect more, and just have a good debate, because talking sports is always fun. That's why I do this. That's why I've been doing this for over 2 years now. I love talking sports. and it's always fun. I'm glad Caleb came on because he likes talking sports too. So great, 2 sports minds talking. It's fun. Yeah, we butt heads sometimes because we think differently, but it's still the fact that it's still fun to talk about. But also go on YouTube, give subscribe, just thumbs up, just watch us there, and come back next week, y'all. Have a great weekend. Peace.
My thoughts and I just can't separate. It's the life